it makes me feel like, wow, like every single thing that we've been taught about sex is wrong. Like every single thing that we've been led to believe about sex is like, think about what you've been taught about sex and then the opposite is true, right? It's like what we've been taught is so far from the truth. Like how is it that, like, why is it that we are being kept this massive secret from about how we can elevate our consciousness and have these wild ecstatic experiences through our sexuality? Why are we being taught the complete opposite, that sex is bad, that you don't want to be a slut, that sex is shameful, that you shouldn't talk about it? Like, I mean, it just blows my mind how opposite, like we live in this upside down world, really, don't we?
Yes.
You know,
And everybody suffers because like I hadn't watched porn for like a really really long time, and I was like, oh, let me go see what's going on. It like relates to my job, and like maybe I could have kind of a cool like orgasm if I'm watching porn. And as I was looking at it, like let's say out of like 100 things that I saw, there was like 0.05 that I was like, oh, that's kind of a turn on, let me try and work with that. But the rest of it, I was like it was just, it was like it's like the biggest cosmic joke that I'm watching these experiences, and I'm not even talking like the bad kind of porn. I'm watching like the cleaner, nicer areas of the porn world on the internet, and still like it's like, let me like take this woman, and like she looks like she's in pain. She looks like she's like in some way being slightly degraded. She doesn't look like she's truly enjoying herself at all. And the thing that I feel when I look at that is like, that's a fucking goddess. Like that
yeah.
woman is like the force of goddess
Oh yeah.
herself, with this like massive potential for pleasure and beauty and divinity within her. And the crazy thing is like I look at the dudes and I'm like, and you're missing out. Like you're just as warped in this whole story because you feel like you have to take something from the goddess when she would freely give it to you if you were in devotion, if you were in service, and like your soul would be nourished in ways that you can't even understand if you knew what woman really is. So it's like men have been in some ways, like some women are waking up to this, but men have been just as warped in this whole story. And it really is a combination of one, you know, kind of the origins of patriarchy were really, from my understanding, like, I need to know who my children's mother is. Therefore, I must control female sexuality, and I must make sure that she doesn't have sex with anyone that I don't know about or agree with, anyone but me, basically, with the rise of agriculture. So that was part of it. And then the other part of it, really, as I really look into it, is, you know, women have, and people who have the lived experience of being a woman have not been allowed to be priestesses, to be spiritual, true spiritual teachers, spiritual leaders for a very, very long time in most places in the world. And sexuality is actually a place where women know their spiritual truth, their spiritual authority, their spiritual greatness. When a woman is in her sexuality, and I don't mean like, you know, the kind of sex that a woman's supposed to be having. I mean, the kind of sex where she is in awe of her own body, where she is worshiped and adored by her partners, where she is in control of her sexual power and her sexual orgasm. There's no doubt when women engage in that kind of thing, they know their worth. They know how powerful they are. They know they know what they know, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
And so it's not an accident that especially in Europe, but in all parts of the world, witches, female shamans, female priestesses, female leaders were basically killed, thrown
Yeah.
into jail or prison, denied power or belonging in their societies. In some ways, in a lot of ways, stripping women of their sexual power was to strip them of their spiritual power and authority and their natural way of connecting to divinity through their own bodies. Once you do that, you can tell women anything you want because they've been denied their own pathway to their own truth. So this spiritual and sexual disempowerment was not an accident, and it was part of this huge wave of disempowerment of women that's been going on for about 5,000 years. And the result of it is women hate themselves because they hate their bodies. Life becomes this struggle and this feeling, just like you were articulating, of, am I good enough? Am I okay enough? Am I this enough? Am I that enough? It's like we're these goddess queens and we've been turned into beggars. And part of that has been this stripping of our understanding of our own sexuality.
It's so true, and it's a real, it's like the biggest issue that I see in our world, you know. And we, going back to what you were saying about porn, like I completely agree. I mean, I think when I discovered porn, I was so horrified by what I saw, because I felt like this is not my experience of sex. My
Yeah.
experience of sex, like good sex, is not about like who's like how it looks. It's not about how it looks, but it's about how it feels, and about, you can never capture the, like, there's no intimacy in porn, right?
Yeah.
It's just this, it's all a show. And I think I definitely grew up thinking that sex was about performance. Like I had to be good at sex, good at blowjobs, good for the man. And there was never any consideration about, like, what about my desire? Like, what feels good for me? Like, is he going to make me feel amazing, feel like a goddess, feel like a queen? And it was all about, I hope I can make him feel good.
Yeah.
And you know, that was, I didn't even think, that was just the conditioning, completely unconscious. And I had so much shame around my um, orgasms when I was growing up, because when I first became sexually active with my first boyfriend, I was having cervical orgasms straight away, and I was squirting and ejaculating, and I thought that I was peeing the bed, because I had literally didn't have any education on this. I couldn't, me and my friends didn't really talk about it. Like there was nothing, it just wasn't discussed. And I felt such intense shame. And I've got to say, that was one way in which I found porn to actually be helpful, because I was like, oh, I'm not weeing myself. Like, this
Yay.
is a good thing. This is a good thing. Thank the Lord.